Most mushroom powders and mushroom supplements are literally made of grinding up the roots, right? And
So
turning that
it's
into a
fiber.
powder.
It's like
Yeah, it's
fiber.
yeah, so imagine that as the banana tree, right?
Hmm.
You're literally, and you're like, well, it doesn't work. It's because you're literally eating dirt or like spent, like waste. Because that's what mushrooms grow in. They grow in waste. And that's what's that. And you're starting to see a whole bunch of research coming out now to say using mycelium as a powder is just as effective when really it's not, right? Because you can have a ground up banana tree or you can have a real banana. Like, what would you prefer?
Hello, Wellness Pros. Welcome back to the Wellness Pro Academy podcast. I'm here with Benjamin Bressington, otherwise known as Ben, the Mushroom Guy, and he is CEO and an Australian entrepreneur of bareremedy.net. That's BAREREMEDY.net. And he has a mushroom farm in Arkansas, of all places. So let's just start big picture, and then we're going to go deep dive, especially for wellness pros who are like trying to navigate how they work with microdosing with their clients, to products that they recommend, to all that. So we're going to get to all that in affiliate marketing and all that later. But let's just start out with like, how did you get to Arkansas and mushroom farming?
Yeah. Arkansas was Bentonville is the home of Walmart and JB Hunt Tyson, right? So it's a billionaire's playground. But what it's known for is it's the mountain bike capital of the US. And I was big into mountain biking. So after a divorce from Florida, I spent 7 years in Florida. I'm like, it's all right, I'm hitting the road. So RV, hit the road, traveling to all the best mountain bike parks around North America, and fell in love with Bentonville. Like I do 40 odd thousand miles a year, not even trying, right? Yeah, and then I just loved being in the center of the country rather than having to toddle all the way back down to Sarasota, Florida, which is a pretty place if you want to be in God's waiting room. But I don't want to have dinner at 5 p.m. in the evening. I just loved being in the center of the country where you can get to stuff more freely. And then just after years and years of evolution, just got burnt out. I had an AI company, had a cybersecurity company, which we scaled. Like I just scaled an accounting company from 250 grand a year to 150 million in less than 12 months, less than 9 months, like automating their business, scaling it out. Got completely burnt out. And funny enough, I went to do a land deal with this guy in this little country town just over the border in Missouri, and he owned a mushroom business, and he had this fantastic product. His reviews were off the chart. I said, "What if I just acquire your business and the property?" And it all happened, and then I was just in the mushroom business, and I'm like, I love this. This is easy. I just get to give people stuff that makes a difference to their life, and I'm not automating them out of a job. I'm not dealing with all that crap, and I just sold out off everything. And this is after I spent the first 10 years of my e-commerce life were all in the self-help space. So most of the people on The Secret I worked with, or they leveraged my strategies. When I was 16 from Australia, I used to fly to Hong Kong and get e-commerce products. I would sell stuff online. That's literally where I started in this world of business. So I didn't care if it was bedazzled bra straps was the weirdest things that I had to set up a website for. And back then it was Yahoo stores, right? Like that was the most sophisticated e-commerce system out there was Yahoo stores. So I'd fly to Hong Kong every 2 months, and I'd max out my $3,000 credit card, and I would have to sell it within the month because I had to pay the credit card bill. So you kind of rinse and repeat that, and yeah, and then worked with a lot in the self-help space, a lot of the guru space. I was publishing books for people. We were building courses and seminars, and so I've always been around it. But the evolution of health really came from with my ex-wife. We had 6 years of IVF and infertility related stuff. And the site, like, I even took her to Madrid, which is the capital of IVF. Most people don't know that in Europe. Some of the, like, two-thirds of IVF in Europe happen out of Madrid, Spain. So we went to see some of the leading specialists in the world, and the side effects that she had because of
Yeah,
this experience just
yeah.
It destroyed her, like it really destroyed her. And like she continued to want to keep putting herself through IVF for this hope of a child. And I realized that it was going to put me in the position of you or a child. Like I knew, and one of the nurses even said, there's a high chance like one of them won't come out. Like, and that's a terrible decision for anyone to make, right? So I had to make the decision of let's stop this, which wasn't an accepted decision. Like
Mm.
your health is worth more, and the side effects from the drugs were just terrible. So I really started to get disenchanted by the medical system,
Yeah.
and just when you start doing medical from a global perspective and seeing different things, like
Hmm.
I went to the dentist in Madrid, and the whole thing that I got done was $150, and I had better medical care over there than I did here in the US. And that starts to make you go, what the hell is going on in this system? Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like all the wake up calls. And I so good. I've helped a lot of women get pregnant through detoxes. Like it started happening
Mhm.
randomly where people would sign up for my 3 week local yogi detox in rural Idaho, and they'd done the IVF and they'd done the this and they'd done the that, and they'd do a 3 week detox and get pregnant. And it was just like, huh, yep, one costs $20,000 and one costs a couple $100. And
Well, the IVF in Florida costs $50 to $75,000 plus drugs, and you'll walk into their waiting rooms, and they'll have 20 people waiting, and they're moving people through every hour. This thing is a grind. And they're like, if you buy the 3 pack, which will increase your results at $200,000, we can pretty much guarantee. And I'm like, we went to Spain, saw some of the leading surgeons in the world, and had all of the drugs in a month in Spain for $11,000. So it's just like it, and the caliber of service was it doesn't even compare.
yeah. So let's talk about the what's going on with mushrooms. So people that are trying to figure out, like both from the psychedelic microdosing and from the adaptogenic microbiome, anti-carcinogenic, all these other properties of just mushrooms in general. Just talk a little bit about the industry and like where you've landed in terms of creating product. But before you do that, I do want to point out that like your success in the mushroom business and in the supplement industry comes a lot from what you just said. Like you had a background in e-commerce, your background in digital marketing, and you had a background in sales. And those are three distinct advantages from wellness pros who are like, I have an idea for a product, and they might, and it might be a world-class, amazing product, but if they don't have a background in e-commerce, in digital marketing, and in sales, like no matter how good the product is, their success might be pretty limited.
Oh yeah, and we see that every day. There's great products out there that are just literally hidden, but there's also it's so easy to get being in the supplement space. It's so easy to compromise, and you may not be even aware of where your suppliers are compromising, and you don't even know. So I was fortunate that I had a whole bunch of business partners who had been big in the supplement space. So they knew who they hooked me up with the right people to be connected with. And I get offers every single day to compromise the quality of my products. And you have to have a strong line. Like our thing is no fillers, all power, which means I'm always going to pay more for a product. But paying more for a product isn't a bad thing because I can give you the best quality product on the market, period. And then customer support is there, it is easier. That's why our whole business model is designed around from giving away free sample bottles, and free sample bottles of our gummies or our products turn into a $300 or more a month subscription from a free
Mm-hmm.
sample bottle, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can't do that with a lot of the products on the market because the product's inferior. And I got
Mm-hmm.
into this game from the perspective of I want to create the best quality product on the market.
Yeah.
That's going to take time. It's going to take money. And because we do that, our customers become raving fans of this product. So yeah, so anyone who's listening wanting to get into a supplement line, yeah, you can go create one, but it's much harder than you think it is in managing the inventory, managing the quality. If it's not a game that you specialize in, it's easier to just partner with somebody who's got a freaking fantastic product and work with them. And there's many ways to do that. So the mushroom game is really, and the one problem with the mushroom game is the wild, wild west. Most people don't realize that most of the products on the market today are literally directly out of China, which is fine. The Chinese products are fantastic. They've been doing it for centuries. They know how to grow mushrooms. My mushroom grow containers literally come out of China. I just ordered a whole bunch of 40-foot shipping containers. So we're going to be growing our own mushrooms for our instant meals and our jerky in our property in Arkansas, our 28 acres on the river. So we're doing things intentionally, and they have some of the leading growth strategies for growing these type of products from China, which is funny enough. A lot of the American growers aren't tapping into thousands of years of knowledge, and which is quite fascinating from their perspective. But a lot of people don't realize that the caliber of like mushroom supplements is ranges from Waffle House coffee to Italian espresso, was how I explain it to people. And a lot of people are happy with Waffle House coffee, which is fine, which is the $20 supplements on Amazon. But those products will do nothing to you because most people will tell you, I've tried mushroom coffee and it sucks. I'm like, yeah, it really does suck because there's a fart's worth of mushroom in it. And the other part of it is that most people don't understand even what's in it. Like the difference between our products is with our gummies, for example, you can have one of our gummies versus 12 of our competitors, right? They
Wow.
literally sell you one dose of gummies is 8 to 12 gummies. Why? Why? Like you're literally having a can of Coke in sugar with the amount of sugar in the gummies. Like people don't realize this. Or when you start talking dosage, and like if you're having a product for a client, this
Yeah.
becomes really, really important. We can talk about the whole mushroom extraction process and all that type of stuff to help people understand. But the world
Yeah.
of mushrooms is the wild, wild west. Most mushroom coffees you can acquire if you want your own mushroom brand tomorrow for a dollar a bag out of China, and literally it's got no benefits into it. You can say
So this is
yes,
like the white labeling. Like if they
yeah,
white,
yeah, the
if you
white
let
labeling.
just stick your own logo on it, and it's
Yeah,
just
stick
junk.
your
Is what
yep.
you're saying.
Yeah, and they'll get it. The thing is people will try it. It'll taste like crap. It's literally just the worst type of powder. And here's one of the things most people don't know about, right? In growing mushrooms, right? There's it starts from mycelium, which is kind of the roots. I explain it to people like a banana tree, right? Like so the mycelium is like the roots and the stem of the banana tree, right? But you want the banana fruit because that's where all the goodness is, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
fruiting body. So that's the stuff that comes out of the ground.
Yeah.
Most mushroom powders and mushroom supplements are literally made of grinding up the roots, right? And
So
turning that
it's
into a
fiber.
powder.
It's like
Yeah, it's
fiber.
yeah, so imagine that as the banana tree, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
literally, and you're like, well, it doesn't work. It's because you're literally eating dirt or like spent, like waste, because that's what mushrooms grow in. They grow in waste. That's what's that. And you're starting to see a whole bunch of research coming out now to say using mycelium as a powder is just as effective when really, it's not, right? Because you can have a ground up banana tree or you can have a real banana. Like, what would you prefer? So there's this whole thing of fruiting body.
And how is that differentiated in a label? Like, what are people looking for then to know if they're getting the fruit or the root?
It doesn't have to be. And they usually classify it all as organic mushroom. So get this. Did you know I can get organic USA grade organic mushrooms directly out of China?
Wow.
Think about that for labeling. So this is part of the chaos, right? And most supplement houses use this stuff because it's cheap, right? So I can
Yeah.
get organic USDA grade approved mushrooms, all direct out of China, never gone through a testing facility.
Never gone through a testing facility. How does that work? Because it's hard to get USDA organic. labeling.
Yeah, well, they've only got to get it once and it doesn't get checked again. There's a whole thing in the industry, and there's a whole bunch of stuff where they send it to Canada. They bring it in from Canada to the US, and through when they do it that way, they get all these seals and approvals and all this type of stuff. And it's just like bypass the system through a back door.
Wow.
Uh, and that's why a lot of people have this stuff and it doesn't work. And which is
Yeah.
sad because there is a huge benefit, and there's huge
Yeah,
benefits
let's
to
talk
these
about that.
products.
Like, how do we know, like, what should people be prescribing it for, and how do we know if it's working?
Well, you should know it's working within the first 30 minutes to 4 hours. Like you will feel it if it's that good. Like if you're having cordyceps, you'll have an energy boost. You'll feel it.
Mm.
But before we do that, let's talk about the extraction, because this is another confusing
Okay.
thing that people get confused on, because there's some extractions that you'll never feel. So, for example, you've got water-based extraction, you've got
Hmm.
alcohol-based extraction, and then you've got spagyric extraction, which is the full process I'll explain later. And that's the most expensive one. So a lot of people go, oh, we're a dual water extraction, which means they boil it in like a big pot, like you would boil a soup once or twice or three times, right? And they call that their special magic, right?
Mm.
So,
Okay.
and what that's doing is that's only extracting around 15 to 20% of the nutrients of the mushrooms, right? So you literally, it's already pretty weak. That's a weak tea, right?
Yeah.
10 to 15%. So its bioavailability means you're peeing out most of that supplement, right? So you've actually got to have like a huge amount of this for you to even consume this, right? And that's what
So why is
most
it,
people don't
why are we
realize.
peeing it out? Why isn't the body absorbing it? Just slow down on that point.
So it's all to do with the bioavailability. So
Hmm.
what that means is how much of what you're having, you're ingesting,
Hmm.
will your body actually be able to process? And if
Hmm.
there's only 5 to 20% of the actual mushroom goodness in a water-based extraction,
Hmm.
you may drink a whole cup of it. You may have multiple shots of it, of
Hmm.
these tinctures, and your body just can't process it. It's kind of like the vitamin C tablets. No different. No difference.
Hmm.
And this becomes this whole world that people have to understand while running their whole business if they're trying to build their own supplement line, which
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
very hard to do. Um, Let alone then do all the marketing and the promotion and everything that goes with running a supplement brand. So we got water-based extraction, and water will
Yeah.
only pull out certain fats, minerals, salts, oils, beta glucans out of a mushroom. Period. You've then got your alcohol extraction, right? So, and some people are like, oh my God, can't use alcohol. Get over
Hmm.
it, because certain beta glucans, minerals, salts all come out of the alcohol. Some companies who pay a little bit more for their extraction will do a water-based extraction than an alcohol-based extraction. So, and then that ends up being their powder or their tincture or whatever they do with it, which is great. Now you've got about 30% bioavailability, which means your body will only process about 30% of whatever the shot you're taking, right?
Hmm.
So that's why some of these shots are literally, you got to have 12 mil. You've got to have a whole bunch of it. You've got to have 3 teaspoons of this heaping, right? That's
Hmm.
a lot of stuff. And what's worse is when you put that into your cup, and it always goes to the bottom of the cup because it's not dissolvable. And if it's not
Hmm.
dissolvable, how do you process it? Not everyone wants capsules. Like
Yeah.
sending capsules to your clients is not always a good thing. So
Yeah.
the last one is what we call spagyric, which is the most expensive, the most time consuming, and this is the foundation of what we build our company on, because it's actually an old form of alchemy. And the reason we do this is because it's 95 to 100% bioavailable. So you feel it fast. Your body literally feels like it's having something alive.
Yeah.
So and this is how I have 70, 80-year-old people calling me and going, I don't have to have a nap anymore. I've got
Mm.
more energy than I've had in years. We've got a whole line of our products that's ladies love, because when they're going through menopause, and it helps with their symptoms. And it's because a lot of the Asian research around these things, which there's hundreds of studies, they're
Mm.
taking the most potent form of mushroom.
Mm.
They're not cheapening out. And what happened is a lot of these American companies will find these great research clinical trials, case studies, and they go, look at what you have when you have lion's mane. But
Hmm.
what they don't tell you is not our lion's mane. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah,
So,
totally. Yeah.
and so let me explain the spagyric extraction real quick. So with the
Yeah.
spagyric extraction, it works with three different processes. So you have the water-based extraction, you then have the alcohol-based extraction. And the
Hmm.
last part of the extraction is the secret sauce. So in this last part of the extraction, we take that raw mushroom that's been soaking in the water and the alcohol because it's extracted different types of fats and minerals and beta glucans. And then we burn that mushroom. We literally turn it into ash and we mix that ash back into that previous compound. So now you've got all of the fats, all of the minerals, all of the salts, all of the goodness that was in that mushroom back into the blend. And now that's what makes this 95 to 100% bioavailable. So when you put this into your body's just like, oh yeah. And it feels like a punch. It feels a little bit like sometimes like an alcohol shot
Hmm.
because there is an alcohol blend in it. But it hits your body, like your body wakes up. That's why you can have two of our energy gummies, for example, and have smooth, clean energy without a crash for 6 to 8 hours. Most people aren't aware of that. Um, does that all make sense?
Yeah, it does. And how does that compare with like actually eating a mushroom? Like, let's
Well,
just
most
use,
people shouldn't eat raw mushrooms to begin with, right?
yeah, let's
Because
go there.
that's just they shouldn't. It should be cooked or warmed, or it's the membrane on the outside of the mushroom actually has to be broken down for your body to ingest. And a lot of mushrooms you can have a hard time, and this is where mushrooms get a really bad rep because people walk into the woods and they go, I can wild harvest my own mushrooms. That's
Mm,
another thing. Wild harvesting doesn't mean it's a good mushroom. All right.
mm,
So one of the things I talk to people about is batch stability. All right.
mm.
And what's important with batch stability is they're like, well, these mushrooms were huge. That means they're packed with more minerals and stuff. No, like a little mushroom could have more potency than the big mushroom. And what's really important is when you make a batch of the tea, the gummy, whatever you're making your batch with, is you stabilize it so you know what the potency is. And
Mm.
when we make all of our stuff in a lab, our thing is batch controlled. Every single batch is consistent. And this is why if your therapists are recommending, your practitioners are recommending microdosing, this is a huge problem in the microdosing industry because people aren't batch stabilizing. So they'll have one experience that's fantastic, one experience that's traumatic, another one that's nothing. And it's a roller coaster of experience. So, and this is where the whole microdosing industry needs to evolve. And remember, microdosing is still a Schedule 1. We're not telling you to go microdose, but uh, doing that type of opportunity is very, very rewarding. And I literally turned my mushroom grow operation into a co-op where we make all the members of our co-op profit owners because of a mushroom experience. So it's part of the fun, if that makes sense.
Yeah, talk more about this going to co-op because one of the other co-ops I'm in is Crowd Health, and Crowd Health is it's like a democratization of insurance, and it doesn't work like an insurance. Instead, it works as like a crowdsourcing for medical bills, right? And it
Yep.
has such a different vibe than like Blue Cross Blue Shield or one of these,
Yeah.
bigger insurance companies. It really has this like return to humanity, and it's less expensive, and to me it's actually more effective because
Hmm.
it just makes sense, right? There's like before you go to the doctor, they, unless it's an emergency, like a lot of us for medical, it's not an emergency, right? Like there's some
Hmm.
some chronic thing that you need to go get checked out. And so they price shop, like they're actually they negotiate the bill ahead of time for you.
Hmm.
They do all these
And they work
things
on
that like,
cash price. Yeah.
yeah, you're working on a cash price, like all these things that it's just like humans to humans again, and we're just getting the bureaucracy out of the middle. So let's talk about this. So you're building a co-op model to democratize the supplement industry, and it's this
Yeah.
like small batch versus big pharma approach to impact sourcing, quality control, and pricing for the people who want to buy it. So talk a little bit
Yeah.
about like how did you get here, and is this a thing that's like happening out there? Or how did you stumble upon it, and how are you making it work?
Yeah, so well, most of the mushroom industry I'm competing against are hippies, right? I love them. They're all great people. They're super smart, right? But it's all run by hippies. And
These are like the mom and pop supplement shop kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, or they like they're doing it because they love growing mushrooms, but they never sell mushrooms. And like, if you only want to make 5 to 10 grand a month, great. Like,
Yeah.
and they can have some really good products. Nothing are wrong with them. Like some of their products are fantastic, but they're not designed to scale. My design was always to create $100 million company, and I want to feed and impact 1 million people a year on their holistic health journey. Period. Right. So that's the
Amazing.
whole objective of our company, giving them the best holistic health access on the planet, right? So there's just no disputing it, and that's the quality we set out to do. And after a journey, I was sitting there and I realized, you know what? I am building this mushroom empire, and I've got no one to leave it to. I've got no kids who are going to take it over, right?
Mm.
Bailey, my Cocker Spaniel, doesn't want the business. He just wants to play fetch. He really doesn't give a crap if I sell another mushroom, right?
Right.
He
And
just
you'll
wants to play.
probably outlive him.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So the thing is like when you realize and when you get confronted with this, it's just like, well, what am I doing this for? Like
Mm.
my
Yeah.
legacy is going to be what? You got all the money in the bank, and so what, right?
Yeah.
So
And
I
at
was
the end
sitting
of the
there.
day, Ben, you only need like a really nice mountain bike. Like it's not like you have these, right? When we look at like the quality of life, right? It's like,
Oh yeah,
well, you already have what you want.
I've already got a stable of mountain bikes. I literally now have to buy a storage container to store my mountain bikes. And like I live in a really nice RV by the river on 28 acres. Like we're building our own saunas and hot plunges, cold plunges. Like our cold plunge right into a spring-fed creek on our property, on my
Mm.
property. And like life is easy. Like I
Yeah.
am enjoying life and I'm loving building this company. And like I don't
Yeah.
give a I went through the phase of the big house, the boats, and all this stuff. Like, I don't
Yeah.
give a crap anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything to your life. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
And when you're sitting there and going, okay, great, I got all these toys. Who the hell am I leaving it with? Like, I had a Shelby Cobra when I was 21 years of age. I I'll tell you this quick story. I bought a Shelby Cobra, and I went to look at this car, and the guy was sitting there, like this old guy, right? He's sitting there going, is somebody else coming? Like, is your dad coming or your uncle
Yeah.
coming? I'm like, no, 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 no. It's just me. And he's like, he goes, there's no way you're buying this car. I'm like,
Mm.
why? At this time, I was consulting the law firms in Australia. And
Mm.
he's like, you're not old enough to buy this car. I'm like, what do you mean? And he wouldn't even let me test drive it. I'm like, will you at least take me around the block, and so I can see it run? And he's like, all right, fine, whatever, reluctantly. And he's like, and I said, all right, I'll be back tomorrow with a bank check. When we agreed on the price, he's like, yeah, all right, you're not coming back. Right, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
show it with the bank check. And he's like, he literally walked me down to the bank to go, is this bank check real? And that's how I
Ah.
bought a Shelby Cobra at 21. And like when you're able to do this stuff,
Yeah.
you realize that it doesn't have the identity you think it does. So
Right. Yeah.
and when I'm building a holistic health company, it's like, well, what are we doing this for? I want to impact people's health. I want to change families. I want to change the life of 1 million people a year. I want to feed 1 million people a year. I want to help them on their holistic health journey, whatever that means. I'm not defining your holistic health journey. I'm not defining what health means to you. We just want to support you no matter what you're going through. So, and our goal was to create more, I say our goal, but my goal was to create holistic wellness centers all across the country. And I realized that to make those profitable was going to be very, very hard. But what
Yeah.
I did realize is that if I make the properties into mushroom farms and the farms are funded and paid through the mushroom grows, we can then offer the wellness retreat centers for free. And
Mm.
therefore wellness doesn't have to be charged at $5,000 a pop for whatever it is. It's given away as a byproduct to help and contribute. So that's one of the things we're doing. And as part of this mushroom adventure, I realized that, well, if I turn the grow operations into an entire co-op and literally allow all profits to be dispersed back to the members, I can create investment opportunities and cash flow to people who don't have access to it, aren't able to facilitate it in a way that like everyone wants to get involved in the mushroom business, but they're like, what do I do with 1,000 pounds of mushrooms? I'm like, I'm talking about growing 100,000 pounds of mushrooms a month. And like, if I achieve my goal of 100 containers, here's the math for you. Each shipping container I put on my property can produce about 20,000 pounds of mushrooms. And if I hit the goal of 100, that's a lot of pounds of mushrooms.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, but Ben, what the hell are you doing all this for? Because you could live with one container and be quite content. So it's just like, how
Right.
do I create a movement around this? How do I create and turn our business, the co-op, into like a pseudo franchise that I can go to people, hey, you want to add a 10 grand to 100 grand a month to your business? I'm going to give you the blueprint to exactly do it. Here's the exact system.
Mm,
No word of a lie. How
mm.
do you then leverage local farm produce and be a local holistic connector and facilitator? And that's what we're envisioning and creating for the Bear Remedy brand. So now I've co-opted the entire business.
And so, yeah, so this is fascinating. So it's like the constraint is right now is like people growing. And then because there isn't really constraint around how much you can sell.
No, not with the way I'm selling. I literally cannot keep my product on the shelves. I get product. Each one of these takes 6 weeks to facilitate. So when I do the batches, and because of how pure it is, it's 6 weeks for us to get that. So now I'm having to forecast months in advance
Mm,
to facilitate product. And now we're moving into the world of food, so instant meals, mushroom-based instant meals, and also jerky. So we're going to have a snack line because now we've got church groups who want us to help them feed the homeless or feed the needy. We've got disaster relief. We've got people who want us to facilitate MRE food contracts where they want to supply 50 million meals. And they need something that's not just meat based or mac and cheese, and they want shelf stable alternatives. And there's only two types of mushrooms we grow. We're going to be growing king oyster, which you can cut it like a scallop, you can cut it like steak, or you can strip it like pulled pork. People don't even know. And then the other one we do is lion's mane because of the extraction. And so what we're doing is we're allowing people to come to our farm to grow, and then we're literally creating the complete blueprint to be able to take these farms, because there's a lot of other farmers out there who have been doing turkeys or wheat or corn or all this type of stuff, and they're wanting to create something else because what they've been doing
mhm,
isn't allowing them to thrive. It's been like they've been held hostage. A lot of the farmers in this country have been held hostage.
mhm.
And what they want to do is they'd love to add mushrooms because of the revenue potential. So our goal is that they buy our system, they buy our grow trailers, and we literally give them everything they need to grow. They sell half of their product locally to feed their local community and helps them get exposure. And we're going to buy back half of their product and turn it into our product line. So we have our now own grow systems. And it's quite fascinating for us to scale this as we scale this company.
That's so exciting. Go you. I mean, it's interesting for me in some ways with mushrooms because in Ayurvedic medicine, mushrooms are classified as tamasic, and I have no evidence for this theory, but my theory is like it was part of the control over the people sort of thing and had to
Hmm.
do with the psychedelics, right? Just like
Yeah.
ban that direct access into consciousness, right? Higher levels, like break through some of the mental chatter, and you don't really need a teacher or guru, right? Like this is the direct path.
There's no
Yeah.
middleman. There is
There's no
no
middleman.
middleman,
Yep.
middleman, middlewoman, whatever you want to call it, right? There is no,
Hmm.
and this is scary for a lot of therapists. Like I had a
Oh yeah.
mushroom trip because I had depression for years, that entrepreneurial depression, and it was getting very, very bad where I was self-sabotaging myself. And I was telling a friend, and he mailed me a package. I took it, and within an hour, I was like, "All right, I'm ready to get shit done. Let's go." Like I was clear-headed. I didn't have the fog. I wasn't sitting on the couch just like doom scrolling because I was so lethargic I couldn't do anything else. like, and I had spoken to therapists and therapists and therapists, and like, it was just, it wasn't unpacking anything. Like, it was just like, and I knew how to talk the therapist game. So it
Mm,
was just like,
mm-hmm,
where this change for people can be within hours. Like, that's
mm-hmm,
phenomenal. Like, there is a mushroom we use, which is Amanita muscaria. If you Google Amanita muscaria, it'll be telling you dangerous, don't touch it, don't, like, 100-foot pole. There's 3,000 clinical citizen researchers who have studied this thing for centuries, right? Where it's been documented just in the last 3 years, 3,000 people. And the book was published by Baba Marshall about the benefits of it and how this helps people with back pain, sleep issues. It's helping so many people get off cannabis because cannabis was promised as this big thing, but people are taking it and not being effective. Their mind is getting shut down. Their body is
mm-hmm,
being impacted. I've seen people who have come out of surgery and had swelling and bruising on joints. Will be
mm-hmm.
soon to have a skin cream because of what you can do with it. You rub it on, and within 24 hours, no bruising, no inflammation, no swelling. The doctors
Wow.
look at you and go, "Oh yeah, that happens from time to time." I'm like, like the guy's joint was almost crushed. What do you mean it happens from time to time? Like,
Right, right.
so we have the we call it our relax amanita gummy, and people love it. We take out the stuff that gives you anything of a high experience. But once again, like people are looking, oh my God, online it says this is problematic, and people do have issues with it because they go into the woods, they pick it, they kind of brew their own tea, and then they feel a little nauseous. You
Mm-hmm,
haven't respected the medicine. Does that make
mm-hmm.
sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Setting, and how things are prepared. Yeah. There's a lot going on. So let's go
Oh yeah.
back to, let's go back to you're growing food, right? You've got this co-op. There's mushrooms as food. There's research now with microbiome and how there's clinically relevant studies on conditions benefiting from mushroom enhanced microbiome that are really pointing to that they're prebiotic, right? So they're the jungle gym for a healthy microbiome, right? We
Oh
need
yeah.
we need the infrastructure, we need the fiber. We're seeing it in
Well, the
IBS
receptors,
and mhm,
there's exact receptor match on many of the elements within the human body for that mushrooms provide. And I can explain one that most people will get really quickly. So if anyone who has
mhm,
caffeine, right, I would
mhm,
put myself on the level of a caffeine whore level. So I used to have 8 Monster energy drinks a day, followed by about 12 espressos or coffees, right? And I wondered why I couldn't sleep. Like I just couldn't work it out.
mhm,
So caffeine, most people understand what happens with caffeine. Your body crashes, it dumps your cortisol, it impacts your health, it eats away at your microbiome level in your stomach, all the issues that follow with that. But if
mhm,
you have cordyceps, right? There's no
mhm,
crash with cordyceps, which is a mushroom. Cordyceps is the mushroom in our Perform blend and in our gummies. And what it does is it literally tells the body to create energy. Don't fake you have energy. So now your body goes, hey, Kate needs more energy. Give her more energy. And what this is why it's called clean, smooth energy. There's no crash. You get tired because you're at the end of your cycle, but you're not going and just falling through the floor like you do with caffeine. I have one guy in the warehouse here. He used to have 6 energy drinks a day, and then he'd drink a half a thing of NyQuil just to go to sleep at night.
oh,
I gave him some of the gummies and the Perform, and he hasn't touched that stuff since. And he's like, dude, he goes, my whole body is just working better because
mm,
he's not overstimulating it. And this is one of the huge things. Like, there's so much overstimulation in all of our food, all of our nutrition,
mhm,
that people are curious to mushrooms, but they don't know what or where. And the
yeah,
easiest thing for practitioners to do is just try this. If it works, come back and
mhm.
we'll hook you up. You,
And so
you,
that's the
you,
whole like free sample into paid monthly subscription that
oh
you
yeah,
guys are.
oh, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
paid monthly subscription, or you go just buy a pack today, and you don't have to worry about it. Like, you don't need to be on a subscription, but what you'll have is you'll create
Mm-hmm.
raving fans around
Mm-hmm.
you as the professional. And this is
Mm-hmm.
one of the things we're opening up with our whole distribution model, is
Mm-hmm.
facilitating that, and the amount of practitioners that are knocking on our door because my clients brought me this, my clients brought me a sample, and I'm like, I can see it's working. Like, how
Mm-hmm.
can I offer it out? And they don't get usually access to this type of stuff. So that
Mm-hmm.
organic growth makes a big difference because people are starting to see through the influencer game, the whole 100 UGC creators who are hyping up a product. Like, we want to be the
Mm-hmm.
anti-hype product.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in terms of, I mean, just for practitioners who are working, let's just say, and I'll just go through this list from the microbiome studies like IBS, SIBO, metabolic syndromes, immunotherapy support, long COVID and fatigue, general gut health, uh, and metabolic support. So we'll just start with those. Like those are all good reasons according to recent studies
You
that
got
people should.
depression, you got anxieties, you've got all the isms that also go with it. You've got menopause that goes with it. You got everything that THC was promised to treat. There's actually a
Mm,
mushroom, or you can treat them with three simple blends, like all the way through. There's everything from the detox approach all the way through.
mm.
So yeah, and there's
Okay.
studies
So yeah,
to
where should
support all
people
of this.
start? Where should Yeah. So in terms of like just walking through, so there's gummies, there's extracts, there's food. Uh yeah, just kind of walk through like more we'll just say health dilettante to someone who's like fully entrenched with SIBO and like just dying for help.
Yeah. So one of the things is that you're seeing a lot of companies move towards gummies because gummies are easy, they travel well, they're consumable. All of our gummies are sugar free. That's an important thing.
And is
Like
that better
most
than
people,
like popping a pill or taking
well,
a squirt of extract?
it all depends. The body
Mm-hmm.
processes them all differently. So the
Mm-hmm.
answer is no, because the body does process them all differently. However, the consumer, like, I'm not a capsule guy. You give me capsules, I make capsules. I break the capsule open, I put it in a little cup of water or juice, and I shot it. Right? Even
Mm-hmm.
like I, for whatever reason, I can't do it. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
the gummies for me are fantastic. The tinctures are fantastic. We made these to be they're a smoothie additive. So this is why we call them micro boosters because
Mm-hmm.
you can add them to your coffee. I don't want you to replace your coffee. You've already got a coffee you love. Just let's turn your
Mm-hmm.
coffee into a superfood. So
Mm-hmm.
you can add it to your tea or your coffee, or you just take
Mm-hmm.
it straight. Literally just put it under your tongue. And the advantage with these ones is that you have a whole instant hit. It'll work within your bloodstream within 15 minutes, and people feel it. Like this one is immunity and mood. And just, I have PTSD veterans call me and go, dude, I haven't slept in 30 years. I have
Mm.
your product and I am sleeping. And all these people who are usually dealing with health issues aren't sleeping. So therefore, they're not repairing, they're not recovering, that they got other
Right.
issues.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, let's go. I just want to slow down on the coffee part. So, is there an added bang for your buck because of the adaptogenic nature and the caffeine in coffee helping with absorption or metabolism of it, or what?
So
Or is
we
it just
just
like
pick,
I'm drinking coffee, I want to make it healthier, I'm going to take some
yeah. So
mushroom. Yeah.
we're piggybacking a habit. So the thing is you've
Mm.
already got a habit. And the thing
Yep.
is I know as from my behavioral perspective, I have a criminology degree, understanding behavior, that changing a habit, right? Yeah, well, I'm Australian. Of course, I studied criminals. What do you think it is? Like, right? It's a land of convicts. So if you don't get that joke, maybe do some Googling, right? So the thing I understand, well, what habit can we connect with, right? And a
Mhm.
lot of people is like, give up coffee, give up sugar, give up pizza. Oh, wait a goddamn minute, right? So the thing
Mhm.
is I'm said like, and this is why I said we will never create a mushroom coffee because they just suck. So the thing is like, let's just create something that makes your current thing you already love and you're
Mhm.
addicted to a superfood. So if I can
Mhm.
piggyback that,
Mhm. Yeah.
your consumption chances are stronger. And what do
Yep.
I want you to do? Consume, because when you consume, you're going to impact your health. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what might happen is you don't reach for the third, fourth, fifth, or sixth cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what happens over time, you start helping your body because yeah, I didn't need that second cup today. I didn't need the
Mm-hmm.
third cup. I didn't need the
Mm-hmm.
fourth cup.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to change that.
Right. You just lose the taste for it, right? It's like your habit
Yeah.
stacking, it's starting to work, and then your body is becoming more intelligent, and so it's just not, it just doesn't have the same cravings.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's clear. Okay, now let's go into microdosing versus just natural like high adaptogenic, like the lion's mane, the cordyceps that are not, that don't have anything like amanita, and then for people who are actually looking for a psychotropic effect, where they're actually, maybe they're weaning off alcohol or sugar or a high carb diet, and they actually want the psychotropic effect of the magic part of the mushrooms. So what do you have for them?
Yeah, so one of the things you want to be doing there is microdosing. What most people don't understand is what the hell is a microdose. If you feel it sensory, you will not, you've overdosed. And the thing is if you take
Mm-hmm.
baby aspirin, or recommend baby aspirin to anyone, that is a microdose. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
pharmacy over-the-counter things are microdoses, and most people don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that. You don't need a macrodose, and this is where a lot of people go wrong with the mushroom. They go into the woods
Mm-hmm.
and they eat that mushroom, not realizing how much they would actually have to eat to also be overdosed. Like you have to eat an entire bin full of mush. You cannot eat that much. So
Yeah.
it's that potency extraction game once again. And
Yeah.
microdosing is very, very powerful because you can take the magic type of mushroom and you can have it in a gummy form or a microdose form. But here's one of the things: your body processes the gummy form differently to the capsule form.
Mm.
And what I recommend to a lot of the people is that if you have the capsule form, you have that in the mornings and you have that one day on, one day off. So you have it every second day. And
Mm-hmm.
then the gummy form you can have as a booster in the afternoons to kind of give you an increased focus and productivity. If you want to increase your recall, if you're studying, if you're doing some deep focus work, having a
Yeah.
gummy-based microdose can actually improve your productivity.
And
So
is that
because you,
because it's in like it is in a sweet, or it is in something that's going to have like some glucose in it, so it's going to get picked up by your blood
yeah,
faster? Is that why the
it's
gummy, or
getting
something else?
yeah, it's getting processed in your body completely differently. It's
Mm.
going through the intestines completely differently. It's going through the stomach. It's going through it's just
Mm-hmm.
different. And most people won't tell you this because they don't know anything about it. They don't test this
Mm.
stuff well enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, and everyone tell this to, they're like, oh yeah, no, I really do notice. Like you will notice colors become brighter. You're more aware of things. If you're
Mm-hmm.
doing any form of sports, it's like you can predict that person's
Mm-hmm.
next move, which
Yeah.
is like people go to me, it's like the limitless pill. If you've seen that movie, this type of stuff can be immensely freeing. So if you're dealing with people
Mm.
who have got PTSD, any form of trauma, and this
Yeah.
is where you need to be a trauma support coach or
Yeah.
counselor with some of these people
Yeah.
to help them through that. They don't
Yeah.
need to unpack it because in one session or 1 month of microdosing, their body can release it. They don't have to continue to pick it up and work through it, which is a little bit different and makes
Mm.
people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So if people go to, it's bearremedy.net, then
Yep.
they're gonna first of all, they're gonna answer a question about how old they are. So let's just kind of walk through the
Yeah.
process, and let's also walk through, like, if a practitioner wants to get involved in recommending your product, we can maybe start there, and then we can back up to the website.
Yeah. So if you go to the website, regardless, there's a phone number and email on the top of the page. We answer that phone 7 days a week. Most of the time, I'll answer the phone because I love speaking with people. We're setting up the
Hmm.
entire online wholesale portal to connect with people. So you can start ordering product wholesale. We drop it, ship it for you. We can set you up with samples so you can have samples available, and then you're we've had one chargeback an entire year out of several thousand sales. We won the chargeback, but like it was just one. And we're over 10,000 sales, right? So the thing is there's something good about the product. So our return rate is ridiculously low to the point that our banks didn't even believe it. So this is what makes this very, very interesting. So wholesalers we're working with, for people who want to white label, we are facilitating white label, but you've got to buy in bulk. But you also then lose all of our sales support, our marketing support, your ability to leverage all of our content because you have to recreate that. What
Yeah.
we are doing is we're collabing with people to be able to create collaborations. But once again, that becomes on a volume play and a thing like that. But a lot of the time, you just want to be able to endorse something that you use yourself. Like if you do not try these products and take them first, like don't talk about any product to these people yet
Yeah.
because like it's easy. Like just try it for 30 days and I can promise you you'll notice it, and you'll be able to talk about the experience. And that's what everyone loves because I get calls every day, cancers, immunity issues, skin issues. You can apply all of these topically and you can ingest them. Like most people don't realize with a lot of the products out there, or even the essential oils, you're not meant to
Yeah.
ingest them because they're actually not using food grade. They're using fragrance grade stuff, which is, there's no healing properties to any of this stuff. So a lot of people have good intentions, but this is where they compromise on the quality and the integrity of the product, and they don't realize the healing holistic impact of that. So for the practitioners, simply like I'll send you a free sample pack. Like you just pay the shipping. It's $5.99. Have some samples, try them, hand them out to people, see what they say. I can promise you they're going to go, "Can I have some more, please?"
Yay. Well, great. I love it. I love it. It's such a a big wild world in the world of supplements. It's so confusing to navigate. I mean, and there's so much there's just so much junk, there's so much filler, there's so much just what is not working on the market. And what I know from my education and Ayurvedic medicine is like mushrooms are a black hole. And yet the studies are just coming out like left, right, and center and all these things that they're really doing, like short chain fatty acids and all of the little things that we actually need from these little and very diverse mushrooms. I love that you've connected back to China and the extraction method and what actually is working. So absolutely a pleasure. You're such a fountain of information on this. So I'm just going to point people. I'm going to get my sample pack, bearremedy.net. Anything else you want to mention, Ben, in closing?
No, like I'll answer people's questions. Like there's so much to this, there's so much of an experience, and there's so much we're innovating and improving every day. The worst this company is in today's iteration because tomorrow we're already going to be better. So we're always improving, and there's a huge amount of opportunity with this. And this type of add-on to any practitioner, I believe, is the future of medicine. There's a massive tide that has shifted in the US and globally about holistic medicine and people wanting to get away from off. When people tell you they're off their mood stabilizers, when people tell you they're off the medicine they've been on because of the impact of that, and you see their skin change, their eyes change, there is something to this that is bigger than you just recommending a product. And it is amazing the referral impact that this can have. So if you are someone who grows their business by word of mouth, like leaning into this is one of the best things you do. Like we give away mushroom tacos for free because it moves more mushroom products. And we think long term about everything we're doing. Like everything we're doing with Bear Remedy is designed for the next 100 years. We're using the Kasian, the Asian model of like, how do we have this company survive the next 100 years? And if you look at anything in the economy, well, you got to be prepared for that. That's why we're launching a mushroom grow. That's why we're doing a whole bunch of infrastructural stuff to support us for the next 100 years.
Yeah, and it's so cool how just that drives so much market demand, just like the actual technology of like how do we grow this stuff? How do we grow so that we can all have it? I love it. Yay. Awesome, Ben. Well, thank you so much for your time. All right, you guys. Hello, listeners. So I have created for the wellness pros out there who listen to this show, the Wellness Pro Launchpad, and I'll get you in for free. Just go to wellnesspro.academy/launchpad, LAUNCHPAD, launchpad, and then just fill out the form and we'll get you right into this school classroom in here. And in the launchpad, it's really cool. Like, you get to see yourself as the hero in the path of the wellness pro, and then your client's transformation and A to B, and your vibe and your brand, your investment story, and design the journey for your clients, patients, or students, and then how to price from results. So these lessons are super short. They're each about 10 minutes, and you'll have a reframe on how to launch and scale the next phase of your wellness career. So wellnesspro.academy/launchpad, and then and on the inside, if you really want to launch, you can, like, your next phase of growth as a wellness pro, then you can talk to me. See you soon.